All right, we're entering a whole new week, and let's take a look at what the weekend handover was from the global equity markets. Now, starting with the United States, you had a sharp rebound on Friday because let's remember Friday was a pretty negative day, and even for the Dow, the futures were all in the red going into Friday. What we saw on Friday was a completely contradictory move. We saw a huge rally on the Dow in excess of around a couple hundred points, and then we saw the futures tend up around 300 points. Now what happened over the weekend is that slightly cooled off. And the reason that happened is because there was 15,000 cases in the last 24 hours in Florida. That's the highest ever recorded in any state in the United States since the beginning of the COVID-19 virus. So that's really sent some tremors in. Your futures cooled off, but to conclude with, the Dow still maintained 100 points in the green. Your S&P and Nasdaq futures were also up around 0.5%. So they've still not completely caved in, but definitely cooled off. This also brings the total US tally now to 3 million cases, so that's significantly larger than what we're facing over here. Now, if we go over to Asia, over here you had a bit of a mixed bag, but still taking out some positive cues from the US rally that we saw on the weekend. The Nikkei was up 1.34%. Here, SoftBank and robot maker Fanuc really led the charge, up 2% each. The Topix index also moved up around 1.44%. The Kospi gained 0.6%. Australia added 1.44% at the ASX 200. So in Australia, the leaders were the banks, Commonwealth Bank, Westpac, all surged more than 2%. So if you look at Asia as an overall view, barring Japan, so ex-Japan, MSCI traded 0.24% higher. Let's now take it forward to Europe, where cues again aided markets. Your pan-European stock 600 closed up 0.8%. Autos added 2.3% to lead gains. And all your major sectors here, except healthcare, were in the green. Let's now do a quick commodity check on oil and gold. So oil was under some pressure. There was a 2% jump on Friday, but now again, the cases have climbed, demand outlook gets hurt, and you've seen a slight retreat in prices. But with that being said, Brent and WTI are both holding firmly above $42 and $40 a barrel. So in that sense, it's still very solid pricing. They've not really dipped below that $40 mark, which I believe is a key support as well for oil prices. So it'll be key to see how the cases progress, because regardless of what asset markets do and what equity markets do, oil is directly impacted by demand. So if there's just no travel, if planes don't fly, if people don't drive, you might see those inventories building up again like we saw in March, storage space running out. And then in March, we went to negative oil prices. That won't happen, but you could definitely see some pricing pressure on oil again. Finally, gold. Gold has just been on an unstoppable run. It's firmly above $1,800. Anytime it retreats when US equities perform, the very next day when equities kind of trim off a bit, gold is back in the swing of things. So gold is currently at around $1,807 per ounce. So that's a very strong level. It's its highest in 9 years. And barring the little price action dip that we saw, it's actually on track for its 5th weekly gain. So gold is just doing really well, and as volatility continues in equity markets, gold should do well.